Are you paying too much council tax? It's a simple question, but the answer could literally save you thousands of pounds, and you wouldn't even know you were overpaying. In this guide, put together by the experts over at ProTax Accountant, we are going to show you exactly how to find out if you're being overcharged and, most importantly, what you can do about it.
So let's just let that sink in for a second. Could you be paying hundreds, maybe even thousands of pounds extra every single year? For a lot of people, the answer is a shocking yes. And we're not talking about a few quid here and there. We're talking about a fundamental flaw in the system that's been quietly costing people a fortune.
And look, this isn't just guesswork or something we read online. The entire step-by-step process we're about to walk through has been laid out by the team at ProTax Accountant. These are the folks who live and breathe this stuff every single day. They know the system inside and out, they know all the little traps, and they know exactly how to build a case that wins.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to dig into why your band might be wrong in the first place. Then I'll show you a super simple 5-minute check you can do from your sofa. After that, it's all about gathering your evidence, making a formal challenge, and even taking it to a tribunal if you have to. And finally, we'll talk about the best part, the potential refund and where to get expert help. Right? Let's get into it.
So, Section 1. Is your band wrong? Well, the whole reason we're even talking about this comes down to one thing. It's often called the 1991 problem.
We've all seen a bill like this land on the doormat. You open it, you probably sigh a little, and you pay it, assuming that number is correct. But what if the entire calculation behind that number is based on a quick guess made over 30 years ago? Well, for pretty much everyone in England, that is the reality of the council tax system. And here it is, the heart of the issue. Your bill today is based on what your home was supposedly worth on one specific day, April 1st, 1991. It's crazy when you think about it. Back then, to get this system up and running, valuers were rushed off their feet. They often did what were called drive-by valuations, literally just guessing from the car without ever setting foot inside. This created a massive margin for error, and for most of us, that original mistake has never, ever been fixed.
So, based on that quick guess back in '91, your property was shoved into one of these 8 bands. Now, think about this. If the valuer guessed your home was worth £69,000 instead of £67,000, just a £2,000 difference, that could have bumped you from Band C into Band D. That single mistake means you've been overpaying every single month, for years, maybe even for decades.
So, the big question is, how do you find out if you're one of those people? Well, that brings us to Section 2, the 5-minute check. This is your first practical step, and honestly, you can do this right now while you're listening.
Okay, to make this feel a bit more real, let's follow someone. Let's call them Alex. Alex is a freelancer, lives in a 2-bed flat in Manchester. Their council tax has just gone up, again, and they have this nagging feeling that something just isn't right.
So, Alex follows these 4 simple steps. They head over to the official gov.uk website and pop in their postcode. Up comes their flat, Band C. Okay, but then they do the most important bit. They start looking at the other flats in their building, the ones that are exactly the same size, and bingo, that's when they spot it. 2 of their neighbors are in Band B. This is the first big clue that something's up.
And here's a little pro tip from the team at ProTax Accountant. Finding out that your neighbors and identical homes are paying less is a brilliant start. It's a huge red flag that your band might be wrong. But, and you need to hear this, it's not enough on its own. It's just the starting point of your investigation.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, gathering your evidence. Now, stay with me here because this is where most people get it wrong. This is the part where you turn that little suspicion into a solid, watertight case that the authorities just can't argue with.
So, what kind of evidence do you actually need? Well, the key thing to remember is it has nothing to do with what your house is worth today. It's all about 1991. So you need to dig up what similar homes in your area sold for back then. You'll also want to note down any key differences between your place and your neighbors. Maybe yours is smaller or doesn't have a garage. It all helps.
And this quote from the official guidance is a real golden nugget. It basically says the 1991 valuers assumed every single property was in decent shape. So if you can prove your home was a wreck back then, maybe it was derelict or needed major repairs, its valuation should have been way lower. This can be a killer argument.
All right, here's another vital pro tip, and this one might actually surprise you. Did you recently put in a fancy new kitchen or build an extension? That's great, but whatever you do, do not mention it in your appeal. Improvements don't change your band until the property is sold. If you bring them up, you're just giving them a reason to think your house is worth more.
which completely undermines your case.
Okay, so you've done your homework, you've got your evidence. Let's look at the next step. Section 4, making a formal challenge. This is where things get official. You're going to submit what's called a proposal to the Valuation Office Agency, or VOA for short.
Now, you have to be aware of the timing here, because the rules are really strict. For most people, you've only got a 6-month window to make a challenge after you move in and become the one responsible for the bill. But there are a couple of exceptions. That window can open up again if the VOA changes your band for some reason, or if there's been a significant change to your property or the area.
The process itself is pretty straightforward. You'll get in touch with the VOA either online or by post, and you'll lay out all your evidence. It's really important that you don't just say, "I think my band is wrong." You have to state what you believe the correct band should be. So for Alex, they would propose band B. Once you've done that, the ball is in their court. The VOA then has up to 4 months to make a decision.
I mentioned a material change a second ago. Well, that can also mean a material reduction. This is a very specific legal term for something that physically reduces your property's value. We're talking about something major, like part of the house having to be knocked down, or something really disruptive happening nearby, like a brand new motorway suddenly appearing at the bottom of your garden.
So what happens if you do all this work, you build this amazing case, and the VOA just comes back and says, no? Well, don't panic. It is not over, not by a long shot. This brings us to Section 5, appealing to the tribunal. If the VOA rejects your case, or if they just don't get back to you within those 4 months, you have the right to take it to the next level. You can appeal to an independent body called the Valuation Tribunal Service. And the VTS is so important because they are completely independent. They're not part of the VOA, they're not part of your local council. Think of them as a totally impartial referee. They'll look at your evidence, they'll look at the VOA's argument, and they will make the final call. And the best part? Using their service is completely free. So really, there are 2 ways you can win this. Path 1 is simple. The VOA agrees with you. Your band gets changed, you get a lovely refund, and it's all over. Path 2 is you take it to the tribunal. An independent panel hears your case, and if they agree with you, the outcome is exactly the same. Your band is changed, and you get that backdated refund. And their decision is legally binding. And that brings us to the final section, the bit you've been waiting for. Section 6, Next Steps and Expert Help. Let's talk about what that refund could actually look like and where to go when you need some professional backup.
So, what is the prize at the end of all this? Well, a successful appeal can lead to a really significant refund. We're often talking over £1,500. And remember, it's backdated to the day you moved in. And on top of that, your bills will be lower from that point on, forever. It really is a win-win.
Okay, now this is incredibly important, so please listen carefully. While you are going through this whole process, you absolutely must continue paying your council tax bill as normal. Don't stop paying. If you do, you could get into arrears and face legal trouble. If you win your appeal, I promise every single penny you've overpaid will be refunded straight back to you. Now, of course, we have to say that this information is for general guidance. Everyone's situation is a little bit different, so you shouldn't rely on this guide alone to make any big financial decisions. And that's exactly why, for professional advice that's tailored just for you, you should get in touch with the experts. You can reach the team at Pro Tax Accountant on WhatsApp or by phone at 07-985-689912 or drop them an email. And if you want to read all of this in even more detail, check out their fantastic blog post on the topic. So, I'll ask one last time. Are you absolutely certain you're in the right council tax band? It's a question that is definitely worth 5 minutes of your time to investigate. For more expert guides just like this one from Pro Tax Accountant, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching.